Go. We're back to battle here. Where were we?
You need to make a map with like redwood trees and bigger equipment.
No more big trees. Big trees are a nightmare.
No.
Big trees are bad. The biggest trees you can get are on Sitka big trees, and I'm never making bigger trees than that, or big trees again. Honestly, I think it's a nightmare. This game just cannot fathom big trees. Like, equipment doesn't work properly. The physics engine doesn't like it.
I think I've seen one of the videos when you and Victor was picking one up to put it on the trailer,
Yeah.
and it was a nightmare.
Oh yeah, and it's not so much the handling; it's just not realistic. Like you watch videos of guys loading like coastal giant cedar and stuff, and you can't do that in this game. It just doesn't. The game doesn't compute. It's like, oh, what are we doing? This isn't working. And then just, yeah, no matter how heavy you make your equipment or whatever, you can never find a good balance.
You gotta make your own game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I looked into making our own game. I have looked into it. It's just I don't have
$1 million.
Yeah, 2 to 3 million basically is a good starting place. And you could try to crowdfund it, but I don't think that would ever take off.
You should buy Giants Farming Simulator company.
Yeah, I'll buy them out with my millions of dollars. Yeah.
A couple bucks.
Yeah, from my millions of dollars of success that I've gotten from this game, let me tell you. Yeah. Hey, listen, like, it would be nice if you could make your own game. I'm all about that. It's just you need the buku bucks, man.
Unreal Engine is free until you start to profit.
Well, that's it, right? Unreal Engine, I always thought about, like, I've looked into it. I've played around with Unreal Engine quite a bit myself just for fun. I just don't have the expertise, and I don't know if it would probably take a long time to learn how to get something off the ground like this. Like, the reason this game's so successful for even what we're doing, logging, is there's just so much versatility with the ecosystem within it, right? You know, you can farm, you can log, there's an economy sort of.
Big.
Yeah, and the way the features are set up, it just works, right? Not to say no one could create something like it, but you would need a large team to do it, I think, and a lot of money.
Or a very smart person.
Or a very smart person, and that smart person ain't me.
With a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because if you set the controls right, you can play this for years and then go onto a real machine and do it.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Well, and you know, I've talked to big companies like Tiger Cat's a good example. I've met them in person and talked to them with their simulators, and like the amount of money and time it took them to create their forwarder simulator that I got to play with at that trade show. Like, I can't even fathom that kind of stuff at my level. I'm not a corporate company of multi-gazillions of dollars. Like, it was not cheap what they did, and it's cool, but to create a full ecosystem game out of it, yeah, you'd need, I would say 5 million would be a great starting point just to get things rolling.
Starting point.
Yeah. And then you need, you know, an actual good team, the networking, and you got to manage that team and have your full dedicated time to managing that team and making sure the game's going the direction it should be going. But all right, maybe we'll stop processing for a bit till some of this wood gets cleaned up, because I'm starting to get some frame rate drops pretty bad here now.
Spooky.
I'm getting about 100 frames per second.
Well, yeah. You want to switch? You can host?
The game only loads in 60, so you should probably just limit it so your graphics card don't work so hard.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. That sounds good.
Yeah, that's what I've done. It's limited to 60 and the fans aren't even spinning on it.
Yeah. It's the way, man.
Yeah, didn't you explain, like, if you set it for 100, then the physics engine, like, bugs more?
What's that?
Because it can only
frames
handle 60. Yeah.
Oh, I don't... Yeah, I mean... The issue comes down for physics seems to be with the vertical sync. I don't know if you turn that off. When you turn it on, it limits the game to 60. When you turn it off, it allows it to go up to 140, but then the physics just go absolutely nut show for whatever reason. And I don't know why, but they do. I'm just going to walk around and stare at people and make them uncomfortable. It's my job.
I get that all the time at work. So.
Perfect.
Oh, you made me drop.
High quality. I'm actually gonna do some painting here. A little bit of, oops.
Made me drop.
Here, I'll paint a road for you, sir.
Ah, thank you very much.
give you a nice send off here. Whoop.
Is there a truck on the move?
The game is lagging really, really horribly at the moment. That's probably why. But yeah, there's a truck loaded there, I see. Well, I got more wood down here, which someone's pushing up. I don't know. Right now. And then we got a big old... Oh, there's 2 trucks being loaded. That's why it's slow at the moment. Slow down.
We're moving too fast for the game. We're doing too much.
Yeah, we're
progress.
being way too efficient. Here, I'm going to drive this truck to the mill after that dump there.
I'm gonna take this one too.
I'm going to drive this one. Sure. Someone else can drive... Well, someone's got it already, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I got it.
Might as well bring them both. So 2 trucks are moving if anyone lags out.
I can't move.
Which way's the mill?
We're actually like right at the mill. I'm just gonna drive right through the woods here because it's like 10 feet away from us. So maybe what we'll do is we're gonna take, if anybody is available, can we drive the processors all to the other end? Let's go in the other direction because I don't want to get too close to the mill here. Because all of these trees too are gonna have a FPS hit on us. My decks at the mill, which are...
Oh, I can definitely feel those trucks moving.
Wait, am I going the wrong way?
There's a large
Yep.
pile over here. There's a lot of logs.
There we go. Okay, we sold one.
I'm just
That'll help.
cleaning up over here, and then I'll bring it all back over.
So much better.
And then once the other one sells, we'll be good too. These are pretty small trees. So. And then, you know what we could do, actually? Let's cut a little bit longer. What's the max we could fit in a forwarder? 8s? 7s? Probably 7s.
I reckon
You always-
7s, I think, or 8s.
Because these are what? These are 5s, so add another...
I reckon 8s, I think.
8s would be max. Let's go with 7s. Let's do 7s just for a happy medium. So processors, swap all over to 7s. And drive all the processors to the other end. Actually, don't even drive them. I'll teleport them because I'm lazy. Otherwise known as efficient. Oop, here we go. I have a processor. Where's my other processor? This one.
There's a Volvo over here.
Yeah, I got him. We got him now. Oops, this one's in a tree. So that's not going to work. Let's put you on the road instead. Oh, that's cool. On the map, it leaves the little circles of where I painted, huh? Whoa, what's going on with my processor head here, bro? Whoa, there we go. Calm down. Okay, processors are in place. So we'll not process until we get everything cleaned up here first.
I only see 2 forwards.
Here, I want to load a truck. That's whenever
I'm
we
sure
get.
there was 4 when we bought them. There's 4 of each, I think. When we...
I think we did 3 and 3. 3 teams.
Was it 3?
Yeah, just because I think we had 2. We didn't even have that many people actually.
Here you go, FDR. Here I come. Da-da-da-da.
Truck man.
Oh,
So there was 3 of us in different areas. and then
Yeah, if you
we all
want to,
got-
yeah,
we
sure,
got
do that
together.
and then back up.
Not too far out.
That's all right. Need to get about here. Here, no worries, I can move you if you want me to shift you over there.
No.
You got it? Okay.
I'm doing it in real life.
All right.
Sorta.
Well, hey, in real life, I've had to shift people over too. Trust me. And keep coming. Whatever. If you want to pull ahead, yeah, right there. That's good.
This game.
Because I can still reach. That's lots of room. Yeah, people are like, "Oh, that's not realistic." I'm like, hold my beer.
Probably what's probably like the most logs you've moved in one stash?
In one day?
One
Oh,
session.
one session like of the game or what?
Yeah, like one fucking
Like for loads? Oh, geez, I don't know.
I think that was back in
One log per
19.
I think I had a video. That was the most logs I've probably ever moved in one day. Was that one video I have where we loaded like I don't know,
What's that one?
must have been like 30 trucks or something, maybe more.
I like the size of those big logs. Those seem like they loaded easy.
Yeah, I don't like big trees. I think they're so annoying. I get so much more satisfaction from doing smaller grappled trees, like or smaller diameter trees in the grapple, as opposed to just makes
Yeah, I
it.
like doing them long, so I do.
Yeah, longs are good. I like a mix of both. I actually now I got those new trailers that'll be coming out. The ones that handle up to 8s, and I've been cutting 8s and 7s on them, and I actually really like loading them. There's a lot of weight to them and stuff, but it's they handle really, really nicely.
I am.
And because they're so heavy, they pack into the bunks really nice when you're slamming stuff down.
Yeah, pink belt. I can remember what mission was in there.
Watching it. See if I can pick up some tips
A
and
whole
tricks.
bunch of legitness right here, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what we're all about.
Mhm. Oh god, I'm dropping everything. Oh, they all dropped. They all dropped.
That way seems a little bit easier, huh?
What's that?
Sometimes than just tilting your.
Oh, under the boom? Yeah. Yeah, in real life, you really can't do where you stretch out to pencil them, like, unless you're really dry wood, like really, really dry wood. But 99% of the time, there's no way you can stretch a machine out like that without hurting something. Or having it go, goo-goo, and then everything in the cab goes flying around. So yeah, I always do under the boom. In this game, I used to always do penciling, like outstretched. And then in real life, I tried it, and I was like, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. Scared the shit out of myself. I was like, it's not like the game. What's going on here? But
Sat on the front
No.
window.
you can only do it with short stuff like these 5-meter logs. Even in real life, you get the little stuff, you can do it under the boom. You get the really long ones, you got to be careful because you'll swing back and whack your boom or whack your cab. And then the other important thing is if you're doing under the boom, always have a small mitt full. Don't fill your mitt right to the front. So even this is a bit more than I'd like, but if you open your grapple and you have too much in there, it's really easy for one of those logs to kick back and smack right into your cab. And I'll tell you, your boss don't like that none. Unless you pay for the machine.
Bosses don't like damages.
Yeah, no. Not when it's a
Imagine going to a
$400,000 machine. They really don't like you smashing shit around on them too much.
Imagine going to an interview because, like, a logger, and what they said, what experience you got? Farming simulator?
Farming simulator. Well, you laugh, but some people actually prefer people who have had simulation experience. And this is, I wouldn't say farming simulator if I went to an interview, but I'd say, oh, I have experience on some simulators, but that's how I would phrase it.
Yeah, don't say farming.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, oh, I play farming simulator because people think you're an idiot. But if you say, oh, I've played on simulators and had a little experience with the controls, that's how I would introduce myself if I was, well, now I don't have to because I've actually done it for real, but if I was new and looking to get into the world of logging, I would say, yeah, I know the controls fairly decently because of experience on simulators, but I would need to practice a bit for sure. And I'll tell you, anybody will take a guy off a simulator any day over a guy that's never run one before, simply because you already know the controls a bit. Watching brand new guys that have never run the controls at all versus somebody that's been playing farming simulator is like night and day difference.
The translation is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
On the joysticks to actual.
Yeah, the one kicker for most people and for myself was just obviously the movements. In this game, you can go a lot faster because you're not in your cab getting smashed around by the physics of reality. In real life, you find yourself, you go a lot slower because every movement you make, you feel in your cab. So if I whip my grapple down, even whether it has logs in it or not, you're going to shake your cab and it's like... So you got to be really careful. And the other thing is depth perception. That's a huge one, right? Like, when I bring this log and grapple this close to my cab, in real life it feels like, oh my god, it's huge, I'm going to die. Like, it's huge. In this game, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a little thing, whoop-de-doo, right? But in real life, you get that full sense of scale, and it's just like, it's very overwhelming. But in like a really good way, like you're like, yeah, this is sweet. At least that's how I felt.
I'm moving this.
Okay, this truck's good to go. Good enough.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Taking it.
Now we're getting caught up here. This is good.
I saw that.
Is that other landing still got stuff? Yeah, there's still lots of logs down there. And then we'll start cutting this way.
Through your area. Yeehaw.
Then we'll start cutting the other direction.
Just saw a lorry come past it. Man, Jesus.
Just surprise, man, surprise.
It's probably the first time I've ever unloaded a vehicle. Oh, the machine was.
That's alright. Practice makes perfect, right?
I usually just sell them straight on with the trailer on.
Oh, yeah, that's how we've been doing it too. Oh, you guys got a machine over there unloading it?
No.
Oh, oh, whatever.
No, he means unloading the forwarder onto the pile.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like back at the mill. I was like, you could just sell it. That's cool. But you usually drive the forwarder right to the mill, huh?
We've been doing it on the new map.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Hey, whatever. What's that?
So you know, sometimes when you're like using the loaders, and you like you don't pick it up in the right spot, or there's like no way to get it over where you need to. You know, how you could get like words.
It's okay.
The logging thing.
Yeah, it's fine there. So
what is it?
Okay, so you're talking about like loading?
Yeah, both of them. You know how you could like put the wheels on the loaders? Would that, you know, to roll it on like the, you roll it on the loader, on the processors?
Okay, like those, like the little wheels? Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Do they have those in real life where you could do like with the loader?
No, not in real life. No. I mean, the closest thing you could get would be like some of the Logmax processors have like a really big fat roller on there, but yeah, no. So what is your end goal? Like, what are you trying to do?
Oh, it's just like mix the both of them.
To try to do like a loader / processor head kind of deal?
Yeah.
Drive forward.
Where you can hold a whole bunch, and then you can actually like move it up and down the.
I mean,
thing.
Like I said, I've seen guys load with processor heads before. But that's probably as close as you can get. I don't think there's any kind of a loader head that has wheels to move the deck back and forth. Kind of a neat idea, but.
Do you think that'd be something if I were to try and make it?
I mean, you could try.
Could be made.
I mean, you could.
I don't know if it fell off the other side or not.
I think it would just be, well, I don't know. You know what? It sounds like something that would be fun to experiment with. This is where modding comes in, where you can just create things. I personally just loading. I don't know where it would be super useful or not, but 'cause, I mean, grapple loading, all you're doing is just grabbing and slamming logs onto a truck. Unless you're talking about like straightening it while it's in your grapple, maybe.
No, so moving it up and down your grapple.
Yeah. No, I would say just. I would say it's more you just need to learn where to grab too. Like, are you saying like when you go to put it in the bunks, is that a problem? Like it's off?
Yeah, you don't have like it's either too far forward or back.
So, the key to remember is when you're grabbing from a pile. Sorry, you can pull ahead there.
Yep.
A little bit more. Keep going. Right there. That's good. The key to remember is try to grab in the middle of the pile, and if you do pencil them or straighten them, make sure that the center of your grapple is in the center of where the logs are. Like, in the middle, right? So that way, no matter how you put it onto the truck, you're always going to be within the confines of each part of the stake. So, are you loading right now?
No.
So where are you on the map? If you come over to where I am for a second.
He's in the forwarder, the green one coming up.
No, that's Lincoln.
Oh, my bad.
I'm gonna churn some settings up.
No worries. I'll wait to show you here. We're gonna give you loader training.
Oh.
Loader training, how I was taught.
One-on-one with the boss.
That's right. Well, that's good. No, that's good. Especially if something's frustrating someone, it's good to review it. So, okay, you're here. Okay, so looking at this pile right here, it's kind of messed up, right? We got stuff sticking out this side, stuff sticking out that side. Not your ideal deck because it's not even. These ones at the front here, these are all evened up so you can kind of see, right? So if you're a loaderman, if your deck is kind of shitty and it doesn't look super great, I try to correct the deck as much as I can before the truck comes. So you can just go to the sides and push it in and try to level it out a bit so that you don't have to do as much penciling. And the more you do this, the easier your job is going to be on the next section when you're loading. So I try to get it as close to...
Or do they just...
What's that?
In real life, do you do that, or is they just...
In real life, they're usually straighter, but like the job I did, it was all pulpwood, so you'd never get the same size logs. It was always like really long ones and really short ones all mixed together. So I would do this to square up at least one side, so I know one side's nice and even and clean. And then if anything's out of sorts, you can pencil it. So when you're going in for a grab, you always want to start at the front if you can, because you're going to be tracking forward, right? So you always want to start trying to grab stuff from the front. And try to keep your grapple so it's in the center. Where are you anyway, just so I can wave at you here?
I'm in the sky.
Oh, you're in the sky. Okay. So yeah, grab it so it's in the center. You see how I'm like right in the middle? And then as you're swinging onto the truck, as long as you keep your grapple in the middle, you're always going to be within the middle of the stake, right? Now, in the odd event, you grab wrong or incorrectly. Like, for instance, if you grab and you're like way off to one side... That happens quite often. Like I said, now you have the problem you're going to hit the stakes, right? That's probably what you're running into. That's why you're talking about the processor idea to run it backwards and forwards. So,
yeah.
Two things you can do. One, you can bring it to the center of the bunk and just kind of sprinkle it down so that you can drop it. Two, you can put the grab back down on the ground and then recenter it and grab in the middle. Or you can pencil it if you really want to. And find the middle. So if you wanted to do under the boom penciling, you could open up and drop and kind of find the middle so that you're centered again. If you have any kind of dangly bits, like if you have anything like that that's sticking out, like this one on the end here, it's not really level, what I would do is always load your flush side. So this side's way more flush than the other side. Always load your flush side to the inside of the other bunk. So basically put that side to this side because it'll be easier. And then that way, this ugly one that's pointing out, you can just go correct. It'll be sticking out the backside. Oops, if I can line up my... Man, depth perception. Depth perception is the other thing that's missing in this game. And then you can slide it up. But yeah, if you're having problems grabbing, just always stay in the middle as much as you possibly can for when you're doing your grabs. And then your middle will keep you always in the center of your bunks. And if you have logs sliding around, which is going to happen, you can swing to face the other way, so your flush side's always facing to the inside. Because obviously I can't reach in between these two bunks to straighten it up. But on the outside, I can always push them up if it's not perfectly tight. Does that kind of answer sort of somewhat of questions? Yeah. If you have more questions...
What if the server's lagging? What's
that?
What if the server's lagging and you can't get the stacks right?
Then just throw them on the truck. hope to God the guy that's unloading it at the other end doesn't hate you, and that's all you can really do. And then if you're a forwarder guy or you're processing, try to keep your decks as straight as humanly possible for the next poor loaderman that has to come along and deal with them. That's always the best way. But because of this game, everything slides around a lot. It's not really... The friction isn't exactly realistic. Stuff is going to go kind of all over the place. So the other thing you can do if you have your logs sliding a lot while you're lifting is use this stabilizer on this claw, which is this little arm here. So if you grab a decent sized bundle, like if I grab all of these, if the top logs, like, see how they're kind of feeling like they're kind of loose, they slide around. If you push this down into them, it'll actually tighten them up so they don't move. And that's actually something that happens in real life too. That's why that stabilizer's there. If you put pressure, downward pressure on the logs, it'll stop them from sliding around inside the grapple. And that's something that you can do. So for instance, if you're one of the guys that likes to do these long pencil moves, you can open up your grapple, let them all fall flat. But before you lift it back up, push that stabilizer into it, and it'll keep pressure on those logs so they don't slip and slide out of that grapple. And then you can lift it up and you're golden.
That looks like it'd be terrible on a machine going that long.
Yeah, that's why you don't do that in real life. You can do it in real life with like really dry, crappy wood, but you can't really do it with anything that has any green wood in it. Oh, that truck's good to go. I'm going to let electric pull in here. I'll do one more here. Do one more.
It's basically like a mini heel bar on that grapple then,
Yep,
right?
that's exactly what it is. Just a mobile heel bar. Keep back up a little bit there, electric. Keep going, keep going, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Right there, that's good. I can get both. But yeah, always keep it centered. And when you do your first dump with your loads, when you're loading, always put that first dump to the outside of the rack if you can, like the outside away from you, because that way, you'll be able to keep building up. If you put it in front of you, you're gonna blind yourself as you build the load.
Yeah.
Which some people know and some people don't. And some people don't care. I've met a lot of guys in the bush that just say, I don't give a shit, put it on the truck. And you're like, alright. So another thing that happens, so this is a great example. So what's happening right here, so I got little tiny sticks on the bottom and big ones on the top. So this happens in real life too. This isn't just a Giants issue. So if you grab from a pile and it's not size sorted, you got these little tiny ones on the bottom. Usually the big ones at the top will bunch up and stop your claw from opening properly. So when you try to close, it locks up on the big ones, and then usually these little teeny ones will actually crap out the bottom. So if I try to pencil, it might work, it might not. Oh, these ones actually slid all right, but a lot of times those little ones will actually pop right out of there. Or you see how they're sliding kind of back and forth? That'll happen in real life too, so you gotta be really careful, especially in winter. You get a little bit of ice on those things. Just an absolute nightmare.
You know your arm sensitivity. What's that on?
I just set to default, which I think 100% is default.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much how I set it.
125 I have.
Oh, I would, yeah, that's too high for me. Well, I just go with, so what I did is I set it at 100 just to have a default place, and then I built the machines around 100% to be similar-ish to real life. Obviously, we're kind of missing that hydraulic-y feel to reality. Sorry, I'm just going to get rid of this bush.
That clanky feel?
What's that, sorry?
I'm sure when you...
And that clanky feel?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that stuff that's missing for sure, but in general, this is probably as close as it is to the loader that I run in real life for sensitivity that I would be able to get to. And yeah, like I said, doing under the boom is definitely easier to pencil logs than trying to do the long stretch.
In real life?
What's that?
You pencil in real life?
Yep. But under the boom, I don't usually do. I've tried doing the other way where you do it like the long arm stretch out, but like I said, it didn't work out for me, so I didn't do that anymore. It's really hard on the machine if you got really heavy logs trying to stretch your boom out that far and clamp it down to the ground. And then you gotta try not to scratch all the nice stakes on the guy's truck and blah, blah, blah. Some guys don't give a crap. You can literally... I've had guys back up into full loads just to try to get their molly unlocked. And then I've had other guys that are like, oh, be really careful. I just got brand new chrome on that. And you're like, okay. So some guys don't care, and some guys really do care about the way they position their trailers and the way you load. And the other key in real life is try your best to be gentle with the loads because there's usually a guy sitting inside the truck, and lots of new guys, they'll try to slam the load down like this, smash. But if you watch the cab, see that guy in there? He is just like, oh my God, stop! So when you're loading and unloading trucks, you got to take into account that there's a human being inside the cab, and it's not... A lot of guys will get out of the cabs, actually, because they just don't want to be in there getting rocked around. But I try my absolute best when I'm unloading to be really gentle with the drops and the loads. Try not to catch their stakes. And if you bump into a stake,
pull forward.
Just go... yeah, sure, one sec here. I'm just going to dump this little bit here. Shwink.
I've seen a video where the wheel loader was picking a big stack off the truck, but he caught the truck.
Oh yeah, and it pulls the whole truck over. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the guy that falls to his knees there, he's just like, ah. It's probably his bread and butter, that truck too. Oh man.
He was not in the cab anyway, so he's lucky.
Yeah, they're not allowed to be. Same with our mill. Like when they're doing the long logs, short logs, they're supposed to stay in the cab because they can't really get, less potential of getting hurt from short logs because they're so small. But when you lift a whole like a whole load over a deck, yeah, it's really, there's a high potential someone could get hurt. I hate when these little ones get stuck on the sides there. See if we can shimmy that in there. There we go.
Do you know when you tweak the friction?
Yeah.
What I've actually
like the ground or the trees?
Both.
Okay. And what about it?
What have you tweaked about it? Is it like less?
More friction. Not on the trees. The trees are the same as they were before for the friction side. They're just default to giants for the friction. But the ground now has, it was 0.5 and now it's 1, which is the max you can put. And what that does is it causes, your piles to stick to the ground a lot better, like kind of realistically. And when you drop trees on hills, they don't free fall slide down the hills as bad. What's that?
Yeah, we're having trouble with them. In the new map, we're having trouble with trees falling down the hills.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to roll. That's one thing you got to watch. So one way to mitigate that, and what they do in real life sometimes is try to pin it up against another tree. So if you cut some high stumps and then just use that as kind of your point to drop the trees, the buncher usually can do that too. That, or just have a ready winch all the time. So as soon as you cut the tree, there's a guy winching it out right behind him. Yeah, no, it's the biggest problem with this game is that the ground doesn't have give, and the trees' limbs don't have friction. In real life, obviously, if you throw a really heavy tree into the dirt, it'll make an imprint in the dirt and stick, right? And if you're dragging a tree or you lay a tree on a hill, the limbs provide so much friction on a hill. It digs into the ground, the limbs stick. In this game, you're basically looking at a perfectly clear cylinder that has no friction other than itself, and it just wants to go free fall down the hill. Yeah, it's just a nightmare. You can't win, man.
It's like bolt toys, isn't it, I guess?
Alright, I'm done hogging the loader here. Someone else can hop in if they want it. That's good to go. Actually, we...